It's a beautiful Saturday morning in the fabulous Florida Keys. I'm Gary McAdams with eXp Realty. If you want to trust the weather app, we're supposed to have a nice day all day long. It was about 73 degrees at 5 a.m. when I went out for my morning walk, and it's supposed to be in the mid to upper 70s all day with all pure sunshine. Still a little chilly for those of us that live here, but a great day for the tourists. I'm glad the people that have been saving up all year and planning their Key West vacation all year can actually enjoy the Florida Keys. I'm wearing what is now my new lucky real estate hat. The story behind the hat, why it became my lucky real estate hat yesterday, is I was wearing it walking down Duval Street, and some woman I've never met, never seen, never laid eyes on, a tourist, told me that I had a lot of nerve wearing a Donald Trump hat in a town like Key West. And I pointed out to her, no ma'am, it's not a Donald Trump hat, it's a realtor hat. I'm a local realtor here in town. She asked me how the market was. We talked a little bit. To make a long story short, I'm showing her and her husband houses all day tomorrow. They're down here interested in buying a home in Key West, and we chatted for a bit. And if she hadn't approached me because of my hat, I never would have had that conversation, and I wouldn't have had a buyer. This is my morning market MLS update video I do every day right about this same time. I report all the new listings in Key West and the lower Keys that have come on the market in the last 24 hours. If you watch this video every day, you will be ahead of most buyers. You'll know about all the new listings from Big Pine Key down to Key West the same day the realtors find out about them. That's very valuable information for a buyer to have. You can also get a much more detailed description of these listings, including photographs, if you follow my blog, keywestinvesting.com. I update that blog every day from the Florida Keys multiple listing service, including all the photos. There's a lot more information on the homes on the blog, a lot more details, any unique features the home may have. If it happens to be waterfront, it'll have photos of the water view, photos of the boat dockage. If it has a pool, there'll be photos of the pool. It's just a lot more information than I can cram into a couple-minute quick YouTube video. If you like this video and you want to see more just like it and know what's being listed in the Florida Keys at what prices every day, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do a video just like this every morning. As long as you're subscribing, if I could ask a favor of you, you'll see that thumbs up like symbol. If you could click that, that helps me advance in the YouTube algorithm, and it helps my channel grow. So if you could click that, I'd really appreciate it. We have 10 new homes to go over today, but before I tell you about the homes, the state of Florida's lawyers have to butt in and make their presence known. We have to cover the legal boring stuff. The information I'm about to give you comes directly from the Florida Keys multiple listing service. I'm not accepting any responsibility for any of these listings. I'm not claiming any of these listings to be my own listing, and I'm not accepting any responsibility if there's any inaccuracies in any of the information I give you. I'm simply reading it to you right from the Florida Keys multiple listing service. In fact, in a day like today where we have 10 listings, you'll probably catch me looking down a few times. I'm just looking at my computer to make sure I'm reading it to you right. The first one we have is a duplex on Fleming Street. Fleming Street is one of my favorite streets in Old Town. All the houses are upscale. There's a couple nice shops and restaurants. There's a nice grocery store there, a coffee shop. Very walkable to Duval Street. It's just a beautiful street. This is a total of 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2,016 square feet. It's broken down into 2 units, a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom each. It's being offered at $2,285,000, which is a very good price for a duplex on Fleming Street. I always mention parking in Old Town. This one does not have any parking, but Fleming Street's one of the few streets of the exception to that rule. You can always find parking on Fleming Street. I probably sold over a dozen houses on Fleming Street. I shop at that grocery store a lot. I go to the small restaurants they have on Fleming Street. I used to have an office on Eaton Street, which is one street parallel with Fleming, and I would usually park on Fleming because parking on Eaton Street is very difficult. So the no off-street parking is always an issue in Old Town, but it's not as big of a concern for me on Fleming Street. And a duplex walkable to Duval at that price is definitely an excellent buy, even without the parking. Then we have a condo in Key West Old Town neighborhood as well. This one's on William Street. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 1,216 square foot condo, which is large for a condo in Old Town, and just 3 blocks off Duval Street. This one does come with assigned deeded parking. It's being offered at $975,000, which is a very good price for a condo that size, that close to Duval Street. Then also on William Street, we have a single-family home, a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 1,622 square foot. This one's being offered at $1,895,000, which is extremely low for William Street. William Street's one of the more desirable, more expensive streets in Old Town. This one also, though, does not have off-street parking, and parking on William Street can be tough. You may have to park a couple doors down the street, maybe a block down the street, which might seem like no big deal until the first time you're coming home with large packages or you're coming home with your groceries and it's raining out. Then those 2 blocks will be 2 very long blocks. The off-street parking concerns me, but if you had 2-car off-street parking for a house this size in this location, it'd be up around $2.5 million instead of the $1,895,000 it is. Even without the parking, it's still a great buy. Then in Key West's Midtown neighborhood on Duncan Street, there's a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 1,708 square foot house. This would be a pretty long walk downtown, but an easy bicycle ride or a scooter. Or the new thing is everyone has those electric golf cart cars. Some of them are gas powered, some of them are electric powered, but it looks just like a golf cart. The electric car or the scooter would be less than 2 minutes to downtown. The bicycle probably 5 minutes downtown. It's being offered at $1,299,900, which is a very good price for a house on Duncan Street. Duncan Street's one of the nicer streets in Midtown. And in Key West's Newtown neighborhood on Fogarty Ave, there's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,612 square foot house. This one's being offered at $1,750,000, which personally I think is a little above price. And you may look at it and think it's a great home and it's worth every bit of that, but personally I think it's priced a little bit high. That's just my opinion, though. Then we go up to Summerland Key on Henry Street. This one's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2,232 square foot house. I've actually been in this house several times. Friends of mine own it. The husband is a high-end luxury home builder. He built it himself. I used to work with them. They're also realtors. They're selling their own home. Henry Street is a great street. You have the canal in the backyard, and you have that open water view. The street actually divides the open water and the home, and then there's a small beach on the other side of the street. There's not enough land to build anything, so you'll always have that view. You have use of that beach as if it's your private beach, so you get the best of both worlds. You're right on the open water. You get the Key West sunset, or the Florida Keys sunset, I should say. Just so used to the Key West sunset, 'cause that's what Key West is famous for. You get the sunset views. You have deep water boating. Your canal in the backyard protecting your boat from any heavy winds or any storms coming in, and that great open water view. This one's being offered at $3,199,000, and absolutely worth every penny of it. They spared no expense when they built this house. The builder was building it to be his own home, so he definitely went all out when he built this one. Then up on Ramrod Key in Breeze-Swept Beach Estates on Ingila Lane, we have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,148 square foot house on a corner canal. You have over 180 foot of canal front space. This one is probably what I'm going to call my deal of the day. Every day I like to pick out the house that's the best deal. This one is definitely it. It's offered at $829,000. Ingila Lane is one of the more sought-after streets. It's one of the nicest streets in Breeze-Swept Beach Estates. It's pretty far out, so you have a short boat ride to get out to the open water. Most of the houses out there are all very well-kept homes. They're all, the majority of them are stilt homes. There's a few ground-level homes, but not many. It's mostly a year-round resident community. Some are rental homes, some are owner-occupied, but most of the people are year-round rentals. There's very few vacation rentals in there, so you're not going to have the transients and the tourists around. It's about a 25-minute ride into Key West. There's a couple nice restaurants on Ramrod Key. You're only about a 5-minute drive to Winn-Dixie, the major grocery store in that area. It's just a great house in a great location with deep water boating, and the canal opens up into Pine Channel Estates, Newfound Harbor. This one opens up in Newfound Harbor. We have one coming up in Pine Channel Estates. I jumped ahead of myself. I should have looked down like I said I would do sometimes. This one opens up into Newfound Harbor, a quick, easy shot to get out for offshore fishing or to Looe Key Reef to do some diving or snorkeling. Or just make a left and go through Newfound Harbor under the bridge, and then you're in Pine Channel on your way out to the backcountry, which is some of the most beautiful boating we have. You're in about 1.5 to 3 feet of water the majority of the time. You'll see the tarpon jumping, the sand sharks burrowing into the sand, the stingrays hovering over the sand. You see the permit, the bonefish. There's a lot of nice sandbars and nice uninhabited islands that have a sandy beach. The locals will just beach their boat on one of the islands or one of the sandbars and have a floating picnic in the afternoon, a floating cocktail hour, watch the sunset right from the water. It's just a great location, a lot of waterfront. Bring as many boats as you want. Have as many of your friends come over by boat. You got plenty of canal space. At $829,000, this one is an excellent buy. Then on Big Pine Key, on a dry lot on 18th Lane, we have a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1,120 square foot house. I'd like to see a second bath or at least a half bath at a minimum, but 1,120 square feet, you probably wouldn't have a problem adding one in. The building department's pretty easy on permits for what they allow on the inside of your house. They're more concerned with the outside when people drive by. This one's on about 3/4 of an acre of land, which might not sound like a lot of land to those of you up north, but in the Florida Keys, 3/4 of an acre is a huge lot. It's being offered at $650,000, which is a very good buy. Then on Independence Ave in Big Pine's Pine Channel subdivision, that's where I confused with Anguilla up a little bit up. We have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,024 square foot canal front home. Pine Channel Estates is one of Big Pine's more sought after subdivisions because of the deep water boating. You can easily get a 50-foot sport fisherman in there. In fact, one of the local charter fisherman companies is in Pine Channel Estate, and they've got about a 45, 50-foot hatteras with a bridge that they get underneath the bridge you need to go offshore. Sometimes at a high tide, you'll see the captain duck down with his hands on the steering wheel above his head, thinking his knuckles are going to scrape the bridge, but they make it under at the highest of high tides. It opens up into Pine Channel, which is also a deep water boating, and as soon as you go under that bridge, you're in Newfound Harbor, which is the one I mentioned on Ramrod. That's probably the deepest, widest boating channel in all of the lower keys. Or you make a right-hand turn and you go out into the backcountry. I won't go over everything I said about the backcountry because I just described it when I was describing the Anguilla home on Ramrod, and it's the exact same backcountry. But that is probably the most beautiful boating in the Keys. That's where I go most of the times. I like to go out back rather than offshore. This one's being offered at $1,425,000, which is a very good price for a canal front home in Pine Channel Estates. Then the last one is also on Big Pine Key on South Seas Street out in Port Pine Heights. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,068 square foot house. If you like nature and you want to be out in the old rustic Keys, Port Pine Heights is the place to be. The key deer tend to conjugate mostly out in Port Pine Heights. Just about every day at sunrise and sunset, you'll have half a dozen deer in your backyard. You can go out and pet them, play with them. They're very people-friendly. There's a 100% complete building moratorium in Port Pine Heights, and you'll see the lots next to this one are vacant. What you see now is what you'll see 50 years from now. Those key deer are very, very protected. And they put a 100% building moratorium on Big Pine Key, and the strongest part of the moratorium is out in Port Pine Heights. I don't think you'll ever see another home built out there, so what you see right now is what you'll get. This house is being offered at $865,000, which is a very good price. You're on a nice deep boating canal. You're right in the heart of that Florida Keys backcountry I described with the other two homes. If you want to get out into nature and see nature in the Florida Keys the way it was 50 years ago, just get in your boat and go out of your canal in Port Pine Heights, and you're right there. That's all we have for today. If you want to take a look at any of these homes or any home anywhere in the Florida Keys, give me a call at 305-731-0501. And don't forget to check out my blog, KeyWestInvesting.com. I'm Gary McAdams with eXp Realty.